Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Zwift Community Live broadcast of the KISS Crit Series, race number 9 for the European edition, presented by Tax. We're out on Watopia Volcano Course today for a 7-lap race, 20.5 miles, 33 kilometers, out on the virtual cycling program, which is Zwift, a massive multiplayer online game in which people are actually riding and competing against each other with the controller that is their legs, the power from their legs, real wattage being put out and communicated into the game of Zwift. We do see that the riders are starting to line up a little bit into the pens. We've got about, it looks like 26 minutes or so to go till the race is going to get going here. So it's going to be a little bit of a wait here before the start of the race. We're going to have a chat with Mr. Quentin Lefay, as well as one of the previous series leaders. I think the series leader jersey has recently changed. He probably doesn't like it one bit that I'm mentioning that right now, but I believe the rankings have swapped up a little bit. Rachel Elliott's currently leading the women's series, and Tim Cartwright recently took over the lead for the men's series. Now, why is this so important for the series, though? Some of you that might be new to the world of Zwift racing, the series is a culmination of races actually that have a best 7 out of 10 for these races. The best 7 out of 10, the top 10 for Europe for the best 7 out of 10 races will be invited to a live final in a LAN event that will actually compete against each other in a live LAN event with live prizes and everything. So these riders have been battling out for 8 weeks now. We are now into week 9 and 10, and it's coming down to the wire here for the battle for the live final, actually. The current series leaderboard is as follows for the Crit Series EU. Tim Cartwright currently leading, 132 points. Kim Little there, 123. Soren Bay, 121. Gavin Dempster and then Phil Whiteley are in there as well for 4th and 5th place. Actually, we do have a couple of riders cards here. Was the series leader until this past week. Tim Cartwright overtook him here. Kim Little out of the UK here. It looks like, nicknamed Hulk, age 40, location in Dorset. Level 25 out on Zwift. I think we're going to see a lot of level 25 guys and gals out here actually for the series leaders here. Gavin Dempster in 4th place right now currently. Doesn't have a nickname, but age 29. Vernes and level 25 as well. Soren Bay here coming out of Denmark here, and it looks like actually Copenhagen, those where he's living at. So Zwift level 23, so not 25 there. It looks like Danish rider. For the women's side of things, then it's still Rachel Elliott, 140 points. Patricia Angerman there, 136. Cassie Baldy there with 126. Kristen Falk, though, watch out for her. Cassie and her have been battling it all out. Zeke Ryder just hanging on to that 5th place position. I think there's a few riders on the up and coming, though. This actually, I think 4th through 14th is quite a battle right now still for their points. So I'd be watching out for some women to try and slip into that top 10 to try and punch their ticket actually to the live final. But Rachel Elliott, who's walked away with this one, won every single race that she has done since she started this series. So Rachel Elliott, nicknamed Rach, 40, coming out of Newbury, Berkshire, UK, super TT specialist actually from the UK. Patricia Angerman here, 30, from Lübeck. Zwift level 16, so a little newer to the world of Zwift, coming out of Germany. She is super strong rider. Watch out for her in all the sprints. She is very tactical and always one to watch out for in the final meters, actually. And Cassie Baldy coming out of London, longtime Zwifter. Good to see her hanging out in the top 3 and always making that lead group. So I'm going to bring in Mr. Quentin Lefay, our pre-race analyst here. Quentin, how's it going? Good to have you here, coming in from France. And it looks to be another barn burner on the volcano here.
Hi guys, yeah, another very hot race today on the volcano, one of the 2 courses that we've had so far, the other one being the London Classic course. But the volcano is maybe a little bit more difficult than the London one. and maybe can hide some better surprises than we can imagine on the London course. Being a little bit more difficult, you can have maybe more attacks than you would have on a flatter course.
Yeah, I think this course definitely comes at you continually. That's a lot of times how we talk about this course. It is always continually coming at you. There's always, every lap you have the 2-tier climb into the volcano, but then after that it does have some undulations plus the snaky downhill section as well. I think we do have a new video here for the course here. We'll see if we can bring that in just a moment. I thought we did have a new one for the course. We'll see if it does come on in here though. But I do know we do have a lot of new viewers hanging out here for the race today. If you are unfamiliar with Zwift racing and all that it entails here, I want to just show you guys exactly what it looks like to have a Zwift setup. And it's not just cycling. Today you'll be watching cyclists put out real power out on Zwift into pedals and bikes and smart trainers and power meters, communicating that into the game in order to race each other. But they did just launch running as well. So here's a couple of quick little videos on how to get what Zwift is as far as cycling goes, as well as running. So we'll be right back with you here in just a moment for more pre-race action.
Not sure what you need to start Zwifting? Here's a simple checklist. First, you'll need a trainer. Either a classic trainer or a smart trainer. Smart trainers automatically control resistance, so when you hit a climb on Zwift, you'll feel the gradient kick in, just like on the road. Classic trainers do not automatically control resistance. Next, you'll need a device to run the Zwift app. An iPhone, iPad, Mac, PC, or Apple TV will get you in the game. Now start turning the pedals and connect your screen wirelessly with AMP Plus or Bluetooth sensors. Classic trainers require a speed sensor mounted to the bike. Smart trainers come with built-in sensors. Time to start Zwifting. For the best Zwift experience, connect to a big screen TV for an immersive and fun Zwift ride. Finally, to get even more out of Zwift, download the Zwift mobile link app to your smartphone. It doubles up as a game controller once you get Zwifting. Head to Zwift.com/hardware for a more detailed rundown on what's required. Not sure how to start running on Zwift? Here's a simple checklist. First, you'll need a treadmill. Good news, Zwift is compatible with all treadmills. There are 2 ways to connect to Zwift. Option 1, connect using a footpod, which transmits either Bluetooth or ANT+. Bluetooth footpods are recommended. Option 2, connect using a treadmill with a built-in Bluetooth sensor. Next, you'll need a device to run the Zwift app. An iPhone, iPad, or Apple TV will get you in the game. You can also connect a Mac or PC. Zwifting with an iPad is the most popular option. Most treadmills come with a dedicated mount or lip on the dashboard to rest your device. Next up, log into Zwift, head to the pairing screen, and connect your devices. For the best experience, we recommend you also use a heart rate monitor. You may also want to calibrate your footpod. Just click the wrench icon and follow the instructions. Time to start Zwifting. Finally, to get the most out of Zwift, download the Zwift mobile link app to your iPhone or Android. Here you can register for Zwift, follow your friends, and connect your Zwift account to third-party apps like Strava, Map My Run, Garmin Connect, Training Peaks, and Today's Plan. For more information, visit Zwift.com/run.
And you can find all those links actually right below on the Twitch channel. There is a link directly to Zwift Run as well as Zwift Bike. So if you want to go to the Zwift main page as well as the Run page, you can head on over there. Now, if you just tuned in, we are getting set up here 15 minutes to go for the start of the Crit Series, KISS Crit Series, European edition presented by Tax. And we do have some questions coming in through here from social media integration. Now, if you would want to interact with the broadcast directly, you can ask questions or comments actually over at our Twitter, or you can interact over on Zwift's Facebook feed as well. But we do have a question that came through yesterday, actually, during one of the races here that's a little helpful to show you guys how it gets done here. If you do want to interact with us, especially those over on Twitch, you want to interact. We are watching the chat, but it is flying pretty fast. So if you want to get a little more direct interaction about Zwift, if you tweet at Z Community Live. If you tweet at Z Community Live or bring a picture through on Twitter as well of your Zwift setup or a question or whatever you would like to bring that on through, we can grab that and bring that directly into the broadcast. We'd love to interact with you and chat with you in any way that we can to answer your questions or hear who your favorite racer is, see what your Zwift setup looks like. Whatever you would like to bring into the broadcast, go ahead and do so. We'll bring it right on in and we'll answer those questions. Now, one of the questions and one of the things that's being talked about is this battle between Tim Cartwright and Kim Little, actually. And if we do look at the current situation, this is where it's at. 132, 123. Tim recently grabbed that leader's jersey, and a race analyst here, Quentin LaFay. Quentin, is it even possible at this point for Kim to respond and get something done here, or is it over?
Well, it's possible, but it's going to be very difficult because as we saw in the rankings, Tim Cartwright is at 132 points, and the maximum you can get is 140 points. So I mean, there's not much left to grab, and I mean it's a best of 7, so Kim can still improve on his score, and well, he's got 2 wins on this series, so he can get close to Cartwright, and he might try to do just that, but I'm not sure it's going to be possible to bring back Cartwright down to second place now that he's won 6 of the 10 races. And
well, last week, Quentin, you saw what Team Experimental was up to, though. They came out in force last week and were definitely there to support the rider, it seemed like. I mean, you saw how they were, they had, it looked like 5-6 riders or something like that out on course, absolutely hammering, trying to break things apart here. Let's see if I can actually find the Team Experimental. Well, if we can find it here, I will throw it up there for you. But man, they were out there completely supporting him. It looked like they're ready to, in week 8, ready to try and dominate, it looked like here. Actually, yeah, here we go. So last week here, we see Team Experimental, real quick here, just, it looked like trying to get him into position. They couldn't pull it off here, but let's see how things worked out with the attacks there for Team Experimental last week. They're in that Noon Sigma Sport kit. Now, moving forward, though, the attacks are starting very early now as we are seeing Bay, Shum, Little. Look at all of the Team Experimental support that is out there for Kim Little. This is a serious attack, following up with One Love and Adam Webb off the front here. Gray, Shum, Casey Shum, leading things out at 189 beats per minute. This is a full-on serious attack right now into the first lap out on the Volcano course. Team Experimental showing up. No joke today. Kim Little sitting in here looking to try and drive the pace. Gray has gone with it. Soren Bay is there as well. And they're showing us that they are not messing around with the Crit Series whatsoever, making things super interesting. 5 Team Experimental off the front right now, going into full-on TT mode. Team time trial now. Team time trial off the front there, Quentin. In the leader's jersey at the time, you can see who it was on. It was still on Kim's shoulder, but now taken. And I have a feeling, are we going to see, do you think we're going to see some support like that this week, Quentin?
Well, it's they definitely try to set fire to that volcano course, but I mean, it's it comes back to what we just saw, to the communication between the riders, and I mean, they might have some very advanced way to do that. They all have microphones and team speaks, and but I mean, most of the teams start with just the Zwift mobile application that we saw just a couple of minutes ago. That's the first way to communicate with your teammates or the other riders in the game, and that what we saw last week was a very good example of team racing. When you have teammates and you know they're strong, especially with Team Experimental, you have to take advantage of that, and if they are willing to do just that, you can go a long way. And that's a way, just like on the road, where when you're not just the strongest, you can always rely on your team. And well, you know, with guys like Casey Sherm or Sean Gray alongside Kim, he doesn't have to worry about anything. He knows that they are going to support him. And
that's the question: are they going to be out there in support? And also, you know, Tim Cartwright's like a team in and of himself. I mean, the guy is just crazy. And I have a feeling KRT as well is going to be showing up in force here. Now, we do have Kim on site here. Well, not on site with us here, but we do have him coming in, and we can ask him himself, actually. We had a couple questions coming through from chat, actually, also about his warm-up, as it looks like he's getting it in here. So we're going to bring in Kim. Kim Little, look, good to have you here in the broadcast. Looks like we're going to have you here live for the duration of the, we'll be able to see the live efforts here from you. But how you feeling today, Kim? Looks like you're getting your warm-up going.
Yeah, feeling good. Having a quick warm-up, about 40-minute warm-up before the race. Looking forward to the volcano again. I like the climb in it. Kind of suits my style. So this is my favorite crit circuit, I think.
Right on. Yeah, it comes at you continually. So your warm-up, there, people were asking, do you have a specific warm-up that you actually do for these races? Or is there any kind of like special ingredient to your warm-ups that you get going?
No, not really. I think being a mountain biker like yourself, just you sort of going flat out from the gun. Don't tend to need so much of a warm-up. So just try and get 20, 30 minutes beforehand, spin some of the legs out, and yeah, then straight to it.
So are we going to see something similar to what we just saw last week? Do we got Team Experimental out there in force, in support? And are you after that jersey? Do you have an expectation to grab that jersey back from Cartwright?
No, I think I'm being realistic. I don't think I can catch Tim, but I'm not sure if you're aware, but Tim's not racing today, so should be a few extra points up for grabs. So yeah, maybe you know, the podium's in sight for this one, and grab a few points back off him. But I think the yellow jersey's gone for this series now.
Well, if we look at the current situation, you do have a teammate right on your heels here as well. Is Mr. Bay going to be showing up? And is there any, like, within the team, are you guys chatting about who's going to take what? A little bit of ribbon of each other here? How's that playing out between you guys and the team?
Yeah, I think Soren's a bit more of a worry than Tim is. So we haven't really talked about it, but I know Soren wants it bad as well. So there's no bad blood, but you know, we're both racing for the win for sure.
Well, what was the series between Le Mans and the Badger? What's that again?
Yeah.
Which one's which? Which one's which here? Which one's which here? So that's the question here. And so Soren and Team Experimental Teammates. Now, we saw the teamwork last week. Are we going to see teamwork this week, though, is the question, as it looks like there's a little bit of battle here in the top 5 still. Now, anybody there, though? Gavin Dempster, Whiteley, Chris Wonos for Team PL, they show up in force a lot of times. I mean, is there anybody you're really thinking about in that top 10 besides Cartwright or Bay?
Well, looking down the list a bit further than that, Tom Hargraves is the guy I think is going to be worrying a lot of people. You know, we've seen how he can sprint. He's got a massive 1 minute power output. So, yeah, he's the big worry there. He's got, I think, another one race to do until he can jump quite a few positions up the ranking. So, yeah, definitely be keeping my eye on him today.
Yeah, for sure. I would think that is definitely something to worry about. Now, you do not see him in the top spots here, but Tom Hargreaves, an elite cyclist out of the UK, he actually works for ZHQ, but I believe he was sitting in 14th place. He has podiumed in almost every race he showed up to. He has to show up to every single race and grab a podium from here on out, actually, in the next 2 races, in order to get into, I believe, a top 5 situation. But I think he is quickly hunting down a top 10. I wouldn't be surprised to see him at the final here. So, all right, things are heating up here. 5 minutes to go here, Kim. We'll let you get on with your warm-up. Thanks a lot for coming in, and good luck on the race today.
Thanks, guys.
All right, so we'll keep live action coming in from Kim as he races it out today. We'll put him on mute, though, as it does tend to get a little bit loud in the rooms for live streams a lot of times, bringing people in from their live efforts. There is all-out power going on. I mean, the kind of power that's produced here, we're talking 1,000 to 1,500 watts at times in these sprints, Quentin, in the final, in not just the finals, but a lot of the attack times out there. What kind of power are these guys producing, really, Quentin?
Well, it really depends on the guys. The power they are putting out will depend a lot on their weight, on their height, and on the shape they have. So a big guy can put out almost 1,200 watts, when a smaller guy weighing about 60 kilograms can put maybe 800, 900, and still come on top. So it will depend on the watts per kilogram ratio. And usually what they sprint at is between 12 and 15 watts per kilogram, usually to get a good position on that kind of sprint. But today, I think the thing that we are going to see is the battle for qualifying place. And
it's really coming down to it, right, Quentin? I mean, it's right down to the wire now, isn't it?
Right down to it. Exactly. And we see that Peter Fone in the 7th position is right under the 100 points mark, and James Phillips in 10th place is at 81. And just behind you have Vidar Mel, teammates of Team Cartwright, just sitting 3 points behind Phillips and Muir. Actually, Muir and Phillips are tied for 10th place with 81 points. And you have
what the tiebreaker rules are. We don't actually have that, so that'll be interesting to see what would happen with the tiebreaker. So, well, that's on the men's side of thing. Real quick here. Yeah. Rachel Elliott, I mean, we got about 3 minutes to start the men's race, 6 minutes to start to the women's race here. Rachel Elliott, she's been the star of this women's race, 140 points. Nobody's been able to touch her here. And let's take a quick look here real quick at the race from last week, the final sprint. And you'll notice somebody actually missing from it. And this is an interesting situation that's playing out now with what Rachel decided to do here, and now how things will be playing out with the women's racing. Women now, Highland leading things out there, 170 beats per minute. Falk looking at 173. Cassie, they're 163. Now it's Angerman heading to the front every week. She waits until this moment and then goes and walks away from it. Who's going to take it within the top 4? Let us know who you think it's going to be. Is it going to be Cassie? Is it going to be Highland? Is it going to be Falk there? Going to make up a little bit of an upset. Who's going to have the arrow power-ups? Power-ups allowed in the KISS Racing Series And Falk now falling off already. Angerman turning to screws to the front here. 7.2 watts per kilogram, 170 beats per minute. But here comes Highland for the upset, maybe. It'd be her best result out on Zwift so far. But Angerman with 10 watts per kilogram. There's the kick on the gradient now. Has 5 meters. Cassie now following, though. Here comes there a power up from Cassie Baldy, though. Is she going to be able to hang on to the wheel of Angerman? Have an upset here from Cassie. She's been unable to do it every week, though. And maybe not. We'll have to see if she can. Angerman now again, 8 watts per kilogram, 8 watts per kilogram. There's the feather power up now as they head into, but it's only a 15-second power up. And Cassie now still with that arrow, but Angerman's got 10 watts per kilogram every week. She does the same, and it looks like she's going to walk away with this one again with the W. 13 watts per kilogram. Cassie off the back, going to be taking second. It looks like Highland now. So again, Patricia Angerman always with that sprint. But you saw the current series leader not at the front. Rachel Elliott has solidified her spot at the top here. 140 points, unable to be unseated. It's your best of 7 out of 10 races, 20 points per win. So she's got her 140. Patricia there trying to lock down that second place, as you can see, and always in those sprints. So Rachel, though, has been showing up as team support, Quentin. Do you think that's going to be affecting the race?
Well, of course, it's going to affect the race. I mean, when you have a teammate of that level, first of all you have a great will to hang on to, and a great will that's not trying to attack you. And second, it pushes you morally. You feel obligated to go further, to go harder. And well, it's very good on that kind of course because well, we saw that the volcano course is very hard, and it comes at you, like you said, and it's not so much as you could think. It's not how much you can hit, but to quote someone else,
how hard you can get hit, how hard you can get hit, and keep moving
at the end
forward. That's right, Quentin. All right, race 16 seconds to race here. We're going to see the live action from Kim. We'll bring you back in for a little more analyzation in just a little bit. Thanks a lot, Quentin. All right, so we're right into the racing action here with the men. Here's a live shot here coming from Mr. Kim Little. This is what a race start looks like out on Zwift. We'll see if we can find Kim's avatar, but you can see the effort there from him. 500 watts from Van der Root here coming out of the Netherlands. Now, again, if you are just tuning in, these are real racers from all over the world, massive multiplayer online gaming platform in which all of these riders are actually powering these avatars with real heart rates. You can see them up in the upper left-hand corner. You can see the real wattage they're producing, the RPMs, the revolutions per minute there as well. And Tom Hargreaves is in the pack. We'll see if we can find Kim Little out there today for some of these live shots from him. But that's what the start of a Zwift race looks like from the live shot there, as you can see. For the women's race, they are just about to get going in about 2 minutes, but we are going to stay with the front end of the men's and see how this lead pack ends up forming at the front end of the race here. As you can see, it's still 169 beats per minute immediately from Tom Hargreaves from Noon Sigma Sport here, ZHQ. You can see next to his name the big Z there on the right-hand side of the course. The feather power-ups are being thrown down through this first climb. You can see the gradient that they currently are holding here, the little mini map here up in the upper right-hand corner. Let's go ahead and go full screen here for you. As you can see here up in the mini map, you can see right where the pack is. You can see the current gradient that they can feel if they are on a smart trainer, or it doesn't really matter though. If you have a smart trainer or a power meter, you still have to put out the power that you need to get up and over the top of that climb with the weight of your avatar in the game. There is drafting in the game as well. So these riders will be drafting on each other and looking for that slipstream to make sure that they can hold on to that wheel and use less effort than the riders in front of them as they head on over toward the volcano course. We can see it off in the distance here, and they are going to be climbing through that 7 times around the circuit out on the volcano course here, and things are starting to break apart a little bit at the back end of the race here, as there is Kim Little and the shots of him. 145 beats per minute, as you can see here. Not too intense for Kim Little just yet, as 145, 141, 143. This is the smarter tactical sections of the race as he keeps things calm, takes on some water most likely after the first couple of efforts, and just makes sure that he follows any of the moves. But you can see the stragglers unable to hold on to the front end of this A race. A category racers are going to be holding 4 watts per kilogram or more for the starts of their races out there. Back in with the women's, or not just the start, for the duration of their races, 4 watts per kilogram or more. A lot of these riders actually, as you can see, Kim standing up and out of the saddle. Now into the women's race, though, as you can see, we're lined up here. 2 seconds to go. 28 racers battling it out right now for that top 10 spot and an invite to the live land final. That'll be coming up. I believe it is in April, actually. So looking through here, now we go. Kay Pole coming out of Germany now. 7 watts per kilogram, making her way to the front as they leave the pens. Vanderbij is there as well. We see Cassie here, but Cassie Baldy currently 3rd overall in the series, leading things out on that Tron bike, the fastest bike in Zwift, as you can see here. But coming right on through, we've got Frederica Haight here, coming out of France now, making herself known at the front. The Vixen team, though, is there with Carrie Konebear now. Konebear showing up, it looks like, with some Port Falk there from Vision Cycling now, also up toward the front with the long socks on and the blue, looking like she's using the Cervelo S5 today, actually, out there. Wonder if there's no Tron bike for her, and perhaps that is why. Quentin LaFay, if you are there with us still, do we have Rachel Elliott? Like, let's bring our analyst in here real quick, as I'm wondering, is Rachel here today? And if not, that's going to have an impact on the KRT tactics, I would think, there, Quentin, for the day. No Rachel that I can see. Oh, we got no audio, no audio, no audio. Did we mute?
Oh, sorry.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, I muted myself. I was saying it's going to have a huge impact because, they have a lot of riders right around the 10th position, and they want to qualify for the finals, and if they don't have their teammate and a teammate like Rachel, it's going to change their game plan. And they will work as a team, and they are going to try some team tactics to get points for everyone. But it's obviously going to be very different from what they could do with Rachel.
Yeah, definitely very different than what they could do with Rachel. And so maybe take a look and see where the points are at. And we'll come back to you for a little bit more about, like, maybe if there are any KRT riders that might be impacted with that when it comes to the top 10 in the end. We'll bring you back in a couple minutes, in 5-10 minutes for some more looks at that as things heat up in the women's race here. But Kay Pole here up toward the front. Now we are seeing a couple of riders already falling off. Frederica Haight needs to hang on to this. This is a moment of truth for her, actually, as you can see here in game, as she's 157 beats per minute, and she might have, for a moment there, had a little bit of lapse in judgment, because if she falls off at this point, if we look at the overalls right now for the series, Frederica Haight is in one of those precarious positions right now where she could find herself in a little bit of trouble, actually, for the series overall if she does not hang on to the spot here. We can see here Frederica Haight 92 points, and that is on an average that's a little bit lower than you would need to be maybe for that 15 or 10 or more for each and every race, actually. So watch out for Frederic to be battling every bit she can. Jerlene there, Vanderbij, Carrie Konebear, Willem Prins. They're really the ones that we need to keep an eye on, actually, throughout the race here. Frederic now making her way to the front there. 3rd place currently. 2nd place now, as you can see, as she takes the pole. Pole is there as well, as we can see. Kessels. Natalie is there as well. Natalie Beatty, unfamiliar with this racer, actually. Let's take a quick look over at the Zwiftpower.com overalls right now. I'm not seeing Beatty actually in the overalls at this point. Now, interesting fact here, Ing Jansen, Tilda Hyland, and Kirsty Hull, only 3 races in so far for the overall series, but they actually, for the racing series, have been averaging about 15 They've been averaging about 15 points per race, actually. Now, we are back in the pens here. We'll get that back up for the women's race in just a moment. We'll try and jump back in with them ASAP as soon as we possibly can, as we did find ourselves in the pens there for just a moment, as I think we did have a little bit of just a network issue on that feed for just a moment there. So apologies to that for the women's race. We'll get right back in with them in just a moment here. So Roden here on the front there, coming from Team Innovation. They've been a quieter team in the E-Crit race so far. And we definitely want to take a look and see where have they been standing, though, in the overall series. And for those of you who are like, what are you talking about? Teams. There's teams out on Zwift? Yes. Teams all registered over at ZwiftPower.com. If you look at the top 20 situation currently, both in the men's and the women's field, actually, for the Crit series, you can actually see that there is KISS Racing Team, Team Experimental, the BRT Bolt Racing Team, Team Poland, Team Innovation, actually, with 7th place there with Peter Fohn, actually. We're seeing Frank Bakalov, Guy DeCoster, Tobias Mueller, James Phillips, all time for tied for the 10th place there from Team R2, Team Innovation, Team Trisport. Noon Sigma is out there as well. Solo, though, with Tom Hargreaves for the top 5. Adrian Timmis is there, too, as you can see, in Alexandra Bogson. And it looks like 16th place there. So Team Poland going to be out there representing and supporting, I think, the man, Mr. Marcin Krzwonis, actually. Krzwonis currently sitting, it looks like, 6th place and averaging 14.6 points per race right now. So definitely going to be looking for some better points, though, I think, to hold on, as Guy DeCoster, only 6 races in, looking for his best of 7 still, 85 points, and he could quickly jump up over the top of Marcin, take over a top 5 position, even over Phil Whiteley there, who's sitting in 5th place currently. So definitely Guy DeCoster. I'm looking at James Phillips as well with 7 races, 81 points and no podiums. Another rider who could gain a lot of points with a solid sprint. And that's the thing about these courses, about these sprint crit type courses, these courses that usually come down to a large pack of riders at the end of the race. It's anybody's game who times it correctly. And with arrow power-ups, there's a little bit more of a game theory, a little bit more of a tactical use of those power-ups in these races here. An arrow power-up is so strong, 30 seconds with a reduced drag on your avatar, actually, which speeds up your avatar. You use that at the right time, and it can win a race with the correct usage of that, with the right kind of power out there. Now, with the likes of Tom Hargreaves still out there, with the likes of Peter Fohn, Marcin Krzwonos there, Gavin Dempster always in there, Soren Bay, Kim Little in there, looking to defend his 2nd place. It's going to really be on guys like DeCoster coming out of Belgium, Bakalov, Fohn. It's going to be on, I think, Phillips, Vidar Mail, who's actually taken a win and a 2nd place and recently hasn't had the kind of results he's had in the past couple, the first couple of races, actually. Watch out for Vidar Mail if he is out there for the race today. I heard that he took the week off last week. I'm going to be watching the overalls for the race here. They do take this dig into the volcano. Let's get some good racing action here actually on the screen, as this is always the 2-tier. Every single lap, this is going to be the place where they will try to break things apart. 1 lap in, as you can see, Adam Webb from One Love Racing here on the pink Tron bike, now the fastest bike in the game besides the Sorello S5 with the beta disc in the back here. But you can see all the Tron's bike earned by climbing 50,000 meters in the game. MD now going with the 2nd tier, as you can see. Brandy melting tallow, though, as you can see, with an attack, KRT, drafting power up. Now, the reason he used that drafting power up there was not to get an advantage. It was to get a different power up. He is on the search here for the arrow, the elusive arrow. He's rolling the dice and looking for it. Now Gray making his way to the front there. Kim Little's there as well from Team Experimental. MD from BRT. Are they breaking things apart, though? That is the question. Or has the Peloton, the blob, as a lot of the racers like to call it, been able to suck them back in and bring them back into the fold? That is the question here. It looks like things have calmed down a little bit, and it doesn't look like they're going to be able to get away at this point as they head into lap 2 of 7. Lap 2 of 7 out on course has been done. Now, Kim Little taking on a little bit of water. Here's the live action here coming from the pain cave of Mr. Kim Little, as you can see. And it looks like things are fairly calm from him at this point. A couple of those tacks, doesn't look like they put him on the back foot at all, though. Definitely still able to hang on to the pace there. Not too much distress coming from second overall in the series right now. Now, again, if you would like to interact with the broadcast, bring all of your questions or comments right on in through Twitter or over on Zwift's Facebook. We can answer any of your questions or comments that you would like to bring them in. And we actually see that Christopher Jehu cheering on Team Innovation for the win. We love to hear all the cheering for your favorite teams out on Zwift, or the team that you ride for. Let us know who you ride for out in the world of Zwift, actually. And don't go into the lava, Kennison is saying, and a couple others there as well. Good Lord, 600 watts for 10 to 15 seconds just to get on the first group. Wild. Yeah, for sure. And, you know, a lot of these riders, Stephen King is out there giving us a couple of comments over at Zwift's Facebook live stream over there. And these guys will be doing 600 watt micros, you know, 15 seconds on, 15 seconds off, 15 seconds on, 15 seconds off. A few of the riders that are going to be weighing around that 65 to 70 kilos, I know for sure, will be doing repeats for 10 to 20 minutes in their training, actually, at 600 watts. 15 seconds on, 600 watts, 15 seconds off. Zero, you know, at chill, 100 watts or whatever, zone one, and back on 15 seconds, 20 minutes straight to that. A lot of these riders will do in their training. So definitely some solid efforts there from these riders. They can throw out huge watts, actually. Waddles? Ducks? No ducks in this broadcast here. So besides the ducks that are in chat, I have a feeling we are going to be seeing Miss Allison Duck hanging out in the chat. So looking through for Twitch, welcome to all of the new people over at Twitch. We absolutely love to have you here. If you haven't done so already and checked out what Zwift is, you can click down below us. We've put some special cards down below about Zwift Cycle or Zwift Bike and Zwift Run. Things are calming down a little bit in the race here, so we're going to show you a couple of quick little promos here, as I know we have a lot of new people to the channel. If you're actually watching on the front page, come on over to the channel, check out what we got going on in chat. We've got a lot of people from the Zwift community hanging out there. A lot of people would like to inform you about what this community is all about. It's a very supportive and connected community. All of these people bettering themselves through the power of bicycles and running and this online virtual exercising environment in which they are in a massive multiplayer, controlling their avatars with real efforts from their bodies, has created one of the most amazing communities that's so connected, shows up for weekly group rides, daily group workouts, and races like the one you're seeing here that they're competing for the live final. We are getting a couple of bounce arounds here with our network here real quickly. So we do see this attack. Hopefully we can get this here as they head into the 2-tier, and then we're going to take a quick little break as we get the things a little bit more stable. But we are seeing Adam Webb from One Love taking the bull by the horns here, but Sinclair there with the feather power up, 10 watts per kilogram, plus the reduction of weight on his avatar with the feather power up, with the attack. 40s there as well. Super TT specialist out of the UK now making his presence known. Watch out for 40 for the win. He's a wild card because he's not in the top 10 at this point. Now we've lost that feed there for a moment, though, so we're going to see if we can get back in with these racers in just a moment. But definitely head on over to the channel, though, if you are on Zwift front page or on Twitch front page. Jump on in with us, and we will get you all the information in chat about what Zwift is. But we want to know about how getting set up. Here's what Zwift looks like when you're out there riding.
Not sure what you need to start Zwifting? Here's a simple checklist. First, you'll need a trainer. Either a classic trainer or a smart trainer. Smart trainers automatically control resistance, so when you hit a climb on Zwift, you'll feel the gradient kick in, just like on the road. Classic trainers do not automatically control resistance. Next, you'll need a device to run the Zwift app. An iPhone, iPad, Mac, PC, or Apple TV will get you in the game. Now start turning the pedals and connect your screen wirelessly with AMP+ or Bluetooth sensors. Classic trainers require a speed sensor mounted to the bike. Smart trainers come with built-in sensors. Time to start Zwifting. For the best Zwift experience, connect to a big screen TV for an immersive and fun Zwift ride. Finally, to get even more out of Zwift, download the Zwift mobile link app to your smartphone. It doubles up as a game controller once you get Zwifting. Head to Zwift.com/hardware for a more detailed rundown on what's required. Not sure how to start running on Zwift? Here's a simple checklist. First, you'll need a treadmill. Good news, Zwift is compatible with all treadmills. There are 2 ways to connect to Zwift. Option 1, connect using a footpod, which transmits either Bluetooth or ANT+. Bluetooth footpods are recommended. Option 2, connect using a treadmill with a built-in Bluetooth sensor. Next, you'll need a device to run the Zwift app. An iPhone, iPad, or Apple TV will get you in the game. You can also connect a Mac or PC. Zwifting with an iPad is the most popular option. Most treadmills come with a dedicated mount or lip on the dashboard to rest your device. Next up, log into Zwift, head to the pairing screen, and connect your devices. For the best experience, we recommend you also use a heart rate monitor. You may also want to calibrate your footpod. Just click the wrench icon and follow the instructions. Time to start Zwifting. Finally, to get the most out of Zwift, download the Zwift mobile link app to your iPhone or Android. Here you can register for Zwift, follow your friends, and connect your Zwift account to third-party apps like Strava, Map My Run, Garmin Connect, Training Peaks, and Today's Plan. For more information, visit Zwift.com/run.
And we are back with the women. We found them. Awesomeness. Sorry about the little bit of a hiccup there, but we are back in with the women's race. And we've seen this time and time again, but where is Patricia Angerman? It looks like Patricia may be taking the week off here, if she, or maybe a mechanical, maybe a situation that ended up where she was unable to show up on the week. Not sure. I'm not sure that it's going to actually affect the overalls in the leaderboard, though, as she's pretty solidly, I think, placed herself at the top end of the race series. But Patricia Angerman looks like Zwift level 16 out there, not in the race today, currently second overall. Usually going away with Christian Falk, Cassie Baldi, and then Patricia Angerman. Rachel Elliott, obviously the series leader currently. So it looks like it's going to be left to the duo off the front now that we usually see, which is going to be Christian Falk and Cassie Baldi, actually, it looks like. Now, they usually work very well together. 176 beats per minute currently here. Cassie there from TZHR, they're 172. It's only 7 seconds, 2.3 watts per kilogram. And Jen, it looks like Jen from KRT, who's definitely wants some points. You know, there's a lot of riders, actually, in that chase group right now that, you know, maybe we need to bring Quentin back in here, our race analyst, because look at this situation. Usually they walk away. Usually they have Patricia with that powerhouse on the front and able to work together with these three and to get away. And we know it's strength in numbers when it comes to cycling. Same thing as in Zwift. You know, Quentin, I'm going to bring in here real quick, Quentin. This doesn't look like it's going to stick in the same way that we've seen in the past. Quentin, do you think this is going to happen?
Well, one thing happened today that is very not regular is that Cassie and Kristin already tried to get away, and they got caught the first time. And I mean, they tried again in that climb, and it looks like the peloton behind them is going to come back again, and they can't seem to make that gap grow because they're just only two.
They're in sights. They're still in sights. This is a totally different race than we've seen in the past here. 8 seconds is it, and they're working together very well. Now, for the top 10 situation, though, have you looked at the points? Is there anything when it comes to the riders in the chase group there that could really benefit from chasing down Cassie and Kristin here? And is it going to have an impact actually on the overall series? That's going to be the question here. Who is in this chase group actually, and whether or not they're going to have an impact on the series? I am seeing, it looks like Inslee is in there. I'm seeing Vanderbeek in there as well. I'm seeing Koneberg in there. These are all names that are in that 8th, 9th, and 10th, and they are looking to secure a better spot and not be chased down because there's riders. Now, what you are not seeing on this leaderboard is those riders in the top 20 who all want to punch a ticket to the live final to get their spot into the live final, in which they are actually able, they actually able to battle out for live prizes at the LAN event there, Quentin. Quentin, is there anything that these women need to be worried about when it comes to this chase group? I'm not sure if their places are on the line, but maybe teammates. Maybe just some pride out there, but I think for the women in the chase group, though, they're the ones thinking about what they can bring back.
Well, they definitely want to bring back that group because every point you can get is a very good point, especially today, because that's might be the race where they get the most points because there's a lot of riders missing in that front group. Frederick Ate is not here.
We're talking Rachel Elliott.
Kreider is not in that front group as well, and
no Kreider. So the sprinter
Kreider
is not in the house either.
Yeah, she's been dropped. She's a minute and a half behind, and that's a lot of riders missing. I mean, Pringe from KRT isn't here right now. The 10th place is up for grabs, so we might see some very important upsets today.
Yeah, for sure. So, all right. So, Z Kreider, Ben Drop, thank you so much, Quentin, for the update there on where things are placing for the race points. And, you know, Natalie Beatty here now, it looks like here, one of the riders who are a little bit newer, it looks like, to the names that we've been mentioning here, letting herself be known at this front-end elite race. Now, for those of you who are unfamiliar with Zwift racing, there are races for all levels, all categories of riders. So if you're just getting involved in Zwift and you're like, racing that seems too intense, look at the numbers these riders are throwing down. No, it's too much for me. There is races at all different levels. Now, this is a race for the cream of the crop, those who are at the very top that will qualify for a live final, a top 10 of the fastest in Europe for the KISS Crit Series, best of 7 out of 10 races that has been going on, actually. So this is all about getting into the live final here. Here's been the schedule that we've been holding for the KISS Crit Series for both the European and the North American. Later tonight, we'll be covering a live final as well. Not a live final, but the 9th race in the North American race at 10 p.m. We'll be covering the West race with some live racers coming in from Lagrange of the Beverly, I believe it's out of Beverly Hills, actually, with Mike Davis. And I believe Lagrange women's team is going to be there live with Rassam Bahati as well. So cool stuff going on later tonight, 10 p.m. Make sure to tune in for that. That's 10 p.m. CST, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time there. So this has been the schedule. We've been holding down 10 races, best of 7. And so this is the cream of the crop, though. That's what we're getting at, is that this is actually the fastest riders that you will find out on Zwift, hammering away here. And, you know, if you're looking at this going, this is too much for me, there's races, though, D, C, B, and A category races you can jump into almost every hour, every half hour out on Zwift. The WBR team puts on a lot of races, actually. 1 lap, 4 lap, all kinds of levels. And people who hold 2.5 watts per kilogram or less, actually, the D races. People are holding... what is it for C races is 2.5 to 3.2. For B races, 3.2 to 4.0 watts per kilogram of body weight. So riders who are holding 100 watts for their FTP, all the way up to riders who are holding literally 350 to 400 watts for their FTP. You can ride at any level and race at any level in the platform here. Again, if you want to check out what's going on with Zwift and biking and running, as we just launched running, look below the broadcast over at Twitch. Click that panel, what is Zwift, or click the runners panel for if you want to learn more about running and how to get set up. Head on over to Zwift Run or Zwift Cycle. So looking through here, we are seeing in the men's race here, 27 minutes in total, 14 miles right now, 33K or 20 miles is going to be the total here about halfway through this lap out on the volcano. And I actually am seeing a little bit of an attack here off the front. TT Specialist 40. Now here's the thing. If it's all about points for you today, if you're out there looking for points, you're going to chase down 40. If you're in a solid spot at the top end of the race, though, you're not going to care about this attack off the front. So guys like Kim Little, guys like Soren Bay, Tim Cartwright, if you were in the race here, Chris Wonos maybe even, but some of those others that are a little further back in the overall for the series in the men's race here, they're definitely going to be watching this and going, you are stealing points from my overall for me to stay in this top 10, because 40 is not involved in the series, but he can steal positions from other riders. According to the rules, anybody can jump in from any team and grab points on the day, but not towards the series. It doesn't count towards the series because he's not involved in the series, but he can take that spot. So he can steal away those points. So guys like Hargreaves, who are on the rise in the racing series right now, 4 races in, looking for his best of 7 still. This would be race number 5, then number 6, number 7, etc. So, guys like Hargreaves, guys like we're talking about Mueller, DeCoster, Balkloff, Phone, all on that back end of the top 10. Phillips, who's tied for 10th place. They're going to be thinking about 40 going out the front. No. Put the team on the front, drag that back in, get that team time trial rotating on the front, pull that attack back in. Don't let that go. Very tactical out here today. Very much a team race now with these teams that are trying to get their races in the top spots. Peter Phone definitely going to be supported out here today by Innovation. Now, if you're looking through and wondering who is Innovation, Innovation is in the Alienware kit. Okay, so the Alienware kit used out on course here is being used by Innovation. You can see in the name there, INC, Jay Phillips coming from INC, currently tied for 10th place. Peter Phone also out there in that Alienware kit. You can see the Alienware kit there. Also from a couple of other riders from Innovation there. It looks like Palmer also out in force. Man, Innovation, lots of riders here trying to bring back any attacks, making sure they're positioning Phillips and Phone for a top 10. But Phone, 7th place. He's in one of those precarious positions where he might get taken out, as well as Phillips here. He's going to be looking for a top podium spot today for as many points as he can grab, but it's going to be very tactical. It's going to be very much looking to reserve as much energy as possible. 180 beats per minute, though. 180 beats per minute. Absolutely demolishing themselves out here right now, trying to hang on to the attacks. This is the 2-tier out there that we're always talking about out into the volcano. It's 1 kick and then a 2nd kick into the finish line. This is where it's always won out on Zwift. Now we're going to see how many laps they have to go here. I believe it's going to be 2 laps to go. 2 laps to go in the men's race. They usually finish. Yep, there's the lap counter. They just finished up lap 5. 2 to go. 2, 6, and 7 now. And we've got an attack up the front. 40 again. Causing mayhem on the front. 6.1 watts. We got 168 beats per minute, pumping blood through those legs to produce that energy. Huge amounts of energy being used right now to go off the front, but nobody letting him go anywhere. The group closes it right on down. Team PL there with Trzynski one of the workhorses there for that team that likes to drive the pace, close things down, working for their teammate. Marcin Krzywonos currently sitting in 6th place overall in the series right now. Team PL with the New Jersey in game. As you can see, they got the eagle on the kit there, looking good. Zwift, Team PL, absolutely loving the new kit in game there from Team PL. You can see all the riders around there in support of Marcin Krzywonos, closing everything down that they possibly can. And this is one of the workhorses for sure. Trzynski here, I believe he is a strong mountain biker coming out of Poland. I might be incorrect about that, but very strong real life rider. Trzynski here. Trzynski also out there, I believe, one of the stronger riders there for Team Poland. Team Poland, always the riders to be watching out for great teamwork out on Zwift here. So again, if you want to interact with the broadcast, bring it on in through Zwift's Facebook live stream, or you can also tweet at us as well. Make sure to bring your questions or comments right on in there. We are seeing it. Tina Bone Frankenheim, good to have you here. One of the racers a lot of times out on Zwift. I'm very familiar with that name, actually. Tina, great to have you here. Says, go KRT train. Cheering on her team, actually, out on Zwift. If you'd like to interact like Tina just did, bring your comments in by tweeting at Z Community Live, at Z Community, especially those over at Twitch. I know you guys will be a lot more familiar with that platform for interacting. If you want to bring your interactions directly into the broadcast, just tweet at Z Community Live, or you can comment over at the Go Zwift page as well, and we will bring in your comments here. And looking through a couple more of the comments here, Go BRT coming through from Collins here. Hulk Smash Go Kim coming from Gemma Akers, and we are seeing a couple of other Go Lindy here coming from Gemma, and Scott Palmer TT Champion Simon Haycock is letting us know there as well. Michael Kozma saying Team PL ride on. So all the cheering is coming on through from the Facebook here as well. And Womborn TT Champ Scotty letting us know Simon Haycock. Thanks a lot for all the information there. Appreciate it, Simon. Always appreciate. So thanks. Let's go ahead and see if we can find our 2nd place overall, though, currently, Mr. Kim Little out on course, the Hulk Smash himself. And it looks like Kim looking pretty comfortable. 149 beats per minute currently. Team Experimental. Now, Team X, they used to use that kit that you saw on Innovation Shoulders. They were using the Alienware kit very early on. One of the oldest teams out on Zwift. Team Experimental, Team Vision Cycling, Team KRT, to name a few. The Bolt Racing team that you can see there out on course, the ZHR team as well. Some old school teams going back 2 years or so or more at this point since the platform launched. But Kim Little here, longtime racer for Team Experimental. We can see his heart rate. We can see his watts currently coming through live. We can also see the live effort there from his pain cave. Is that Kim, can you answer a question here real quick? I don't know if you can chat. We'll see. Kim, what kind of bikes you got behind you there? And are there any scones in the room?
That's like a 140mm enduro bike, a disc brake road bike, TT bike, another road bike.
Just chatting away. About to climb here. I can see the effort there. There's the smile and the grimace. Oh my goodness. Listen to the effort there. A little bit of smile, a little bit of a laugh there, but now up in the 500 watts. I have a feeling the chat's not going to be coming through any longer. Look at the focus on the face there coming from Kim Little from the pain cave. That's what the effort looks like to try and hang on with 2 laps to go. Kim Little, 2nd overall. Hulk Smash killing it right now to hang on to the front end of this race, and he's got Team Experimental out there to support him. But will the love be lost between himself and Soren Bay? Because it looks like Bay is out here as well, currently sitting in 3rd place overall. Remember, Soren Bay, teammate on Team Experimental, 121. It is a 1-point difference between each of the spots. 1st place, 20 points. 2nd place, 19. 3rd place, 18th. All the way down through 20th place. So it's going to be about Soren following Kim and looking for 2 spots on him if he wants to try and take that away from him. But 1 lap to go. 1 lap to go. We're into the final lap here. This is for all the money, all the chips on the table. Let's check in with the women's race here real quickly before we catch the final for the men's race now we are seeing, it looks like here, Cassie Baldy right along with Falk have been caught. This is quite the interesting situation, actually. We haven't seen a sprint finish like this, actually, into the final. This might open up the door for some strong sprinters. Patricia Angerman, second place overall. Rachel Elliott, first place overall. Not in the race today. Cassie Baldy, Kristen Falk, defending that third and fourth place overall. And are they going to be able to defend in a pack? They have been the types of riders that have a strong threshold, that like to walk away from the pack, to get away from the rest of the riders. If there are any other sprinter types in the pack here for the women's race, it is going to be an upset, actually, I think, today. If there are any, I mean, without Patricia there to just walk away with a 12 watt per kilogram kick, it's going to be all about who's got the timing, who's got the aero power up, who's got the effort at the end here for these final laps. It's going to be 2.5 laps to go, 2.5 laps to go or so for the women's race, but we're into the final for the men. Let's make sure to catch all this racing action. We'll jump back in with that lead pack for the women in just a moment here, but we see Kim Little here, 4.8 watts per kilogram, second overall. Tom Hargreaves, we're going to be following that avatar a lot. Look at him with the Zwift slick cap on there, and suddenly a freeze up here. We'll see if we can get this back in. I apologize, you guys. Hopefully we can get back in with the race, but I have a feeling that our Zwift instance froze for just a second there, and we're right back in. That's the first time I've ever seen that before, but we're right back in with the race, and we'll give Tom a ride on here. He's wearing his 100-mile accomplishment. That is actually an unlocked jersey, you can see in game here. If you ride 100 miles in one go on Zwift, you unlock that jersey that Tom's currently wearing. Halfway through the last lap out on course, and the attacks are starting very early, actually. Kay Leonard, innovation off the front. Phillips, Richardson, Webb. This is a timed attack, and you know what they're looking to do here? They are looking to actually break things apart and cause a chase early on, I think, to set up Phone and Phillips, actually. They're actually setting up Phillips. That's what's going on. This is a setup for Jay Phillips, who is 4 seconds off the front. Innovation. This is a crazy setup. I have not seen the likes of this, and without the likes of Cartwright or maybe a couple others of strongmen in Zwift to close this down, the communication is perfect, but they have to throw down 6 watts per kilogram or more from here on out and then have a sprint. Phillips needs to sit in at this point, and now it's calmed down. 2 watts per kilogram, 5 seconds. Can they hold on? Here comes the blob. The pack is chasing it down. 176 beats per minute. MD here with 325, trying to bring it back. Chris Walnuts out. Team PL. The upset is there. Innovation's on the front. Can they hold on to it? Have they been caught out? Tom Hargreaves here. He needs these points. There's 5 off the front. Will they be able to hold off? Because Hargreaves needs every last point he can get to get into this final still here. Richardson off the front, dragging Phillips to the line. Webb is trying to go 160 beats per minute here now, though. Chris Walnuts, 2 seconds, it looks like. Hargreaves, perfectly timed, 180 beats per minute. How much effort was have to be wasted? I don't think anybody was able to sit in calmly at this point. Let's see what this is going to look like for. Where is Kim Little? Kim Little here, looking calm still, very focused there, but here comes some very early power-ups there into the final now, as you can see, and it's going to be Innovation now, still with the gap, nobody on their wheel, unable to get the advantage there from the lead-out train, but here comes Cups, here comes Gray, here comes Sinclair. Hargreaves now, 10 watts per kilogram, absolutely killing it. Phillips now, 8.8 though, off the front, there goes Gray. Experimental now, killing it. Oh my goodness, but Phillips, 12 watts per kilogram. This guy wants it, tied for 10th overall right now, but he's got to hold on to the line. Here comes Copes, though. Sylvania is in the house, but Hargreaves showing us who's got the sprint. It's Tom Hargreaves off the front. 12 watts per kilogram all day long. Tom Hargreaves gonna be taking it. Ponceline tries, but it's not going to happen. Hargreaves takes the W for number 9 out on the course there. Zwift Racing. Kim Little tried for it. We can see the expression on the face there from Kim. Not sure what place Kim was able to get there. We'll try and bring it in there. But what an effort all around. Tom Hargreaves, that's what he's been looking for. He's been looking for that first place podium, and he He timed it perfectly. 13 watts per kilogram, kicked it over the 2-tier and dominated that sprint today. What an effort there from Tom Hargreaves for our Noon Sigma Sport. He's letting us know who the sprinter is out there, what the real life effort can bring in. Elite cyclist out of the UK. Solid effort there from Hargreaves. And now back in, though, with the women's racing. We'll get the replay there of that effort there in just a moment. We'll get the live results. They should be up in about a minute or so, and we'll go through all the results for the men's race. But we're coming into a lap and a half to go for the women. Still racing to go here out on course for the women. And this is for some serious points. You know, we've had kind of a little bit of a situation in the women's racing where it's been, you know, we know who's going to win. Rachel Elliott shows up, bam, it's over. Patricia Engelman shows up, bam, it's over for second. Cassie and Kristen get off the front. And we've had this situation where it's kind of been like these riders break away and the race is over, and then it's a battle for whoever can figure out the points behind. Now, we've got a very different situation. We've got top 10 riders here who are not usually in it for the sprint, not usually able to be there for a win, not usually able to grab a podium spot. And now the likes of Pole, Frederique Haight, Jerlene Vanderbridge, Carrie Konenberg, Willem Prins, and a couple of others that are just outside of that top 10 usually are still here and have a lap and a half to hang on and prove themselves in a sprint here now. So will the likes of Patricia here, who's second, not there today, actually, excuse me, Cassie Baldy and Kristen Falk, be able to make this happen today here? Let's get some of these closer up pictures here coming on in as we do see who's all here and where the heart rates are at this point right now. So for the race right now, we're seeing Natalie Bay here, Kristen Falk. Natalie Bay currently 157 beats per minute, looking fairly good so far here. 156. Cassie there, 162, fairly calm at this point. We'll give her a ride on for the effort so far. As you can see, Kirsten Pole, the 180 beats per minute now. KRT here, and she is currently in the overalls. Let's go ahead and double check where this is at for the overalls for the women. Pole currently sitting in 6th place overall. 180 beats per minute. She's got her best of 7 already in. She's averaging though about 13 points per race, which means that she finishes right around 7th place or so. She's in it for a win. She's in it for a podium here. This could be a big jump into a top 5. Z's not here. We've got Patricia missing. We've got Rachel missing. She could, and with that 94 points, you know, she's currently sitting on, she could really solidify a spot in the top 6. She can't quite catch Z Kreider at this point. She'd be the most she can gain at this point is going to be at about 114 points, but it definitely puts her in a solid position though for the final race next week, actually. So we're going to see how that's going to play out here. But now we are seeing Frederique Haight. Has she been able to make this here for the team TFC? I think Frederica Hayes actually been dropped off, and that is going to make things super interesting actually for the races we head into the volcano here, heading into the final lap, as without Frederique in this front group, she's currently sitting in 7th overall. She's going to find herself dropping as other riders. Anya Ludendorff, is Anya out there? If Anya's out there for KRT, she's going to find herself in a perfect position to grab some points, but she hasn't showed up either, actually. Looking through here, Kaz Jen, yes, K Jen from KRT, 3.3 watts per kilogram currently, 165. She is currently in 12th place overall. She's averaging 10 points, which means she averages right around 10th or 11th place. She has an opportunity to take a podium at this point and really bunny hop from 12th and into a live final. Punch your ticket to that live final position, actually. Kaz Jen here, perfect spot right now to try and get into that live final. But can she take advantage of it with attacks like this off the front? Kristen Falk, Cassie Baldy now, 4.2, 4.3. They've tried so many times to get away. Going into the last lap now, will they have that effort? Will they be able to hold on, or will the group be able to pull them back in? There's all the motivation, though, from these women behind here, chasing them down to bring that back. Pole, Beatty, Pole, Vanderbeek out of the Netherlands there. Kaz Jen coming out of the UK for the KRT team. Now, I think the one with some the most to gain actually amongst that pack, saying, come on girls, let's pull this back in now. Inslee's in there as well. Inslee, she also is another one who has a lot to gain, as you can see. Ing Jensen also there with 3, and Lindy Gray, Claire Reed, Steve Ingmo, if any of them are in there. Carrie Konebear though, has Konebear made it? Konebear from Team Vixen, the Foxes are in the house here, and it looks like at 3.3 watts per kilogram. Konebear currently in 9th place, and 2 podium finishes, also with a lot to gain and really solidify her spot at the top end of this race. Let me hear, who do you think is going to win? Who are you cheering for? We're in the last half a lap for the women's race. We got about a mile, a little more than a mile, about 3K to go at this point. Who's going to take it? Will it be Kristen Falk and Cassie Baldy? Will they hold on to their 2-second gap? Will they be pulled in? Is the motivation there from the likes of Pole, from the likes of the others out on course here in that chase group? We've got Beatty, we've got Konebear, we've got Vanderbij, we've got Kaz Jen out there. Will they be able to bring this chase back in? Thomas Schultz now saying, let's go KRT Raiders. Daniel Honor saying, what a race. Go Phillips from Christopher Jehu. Neil Hayward, he got lit. Cy in there as well. We see Twitch chat going nuts here as well. Good to see all you newcomers in here. If you're just tuning in, you're looking at the last half a lap for the women's final for the Kiss Crit Series European edition presented by Tax. This is a battle for a live spot in this is a spot in the LAN Live Final coming up after a 10-race series best of 7 for an invitation expenses paid trip to that live final actually. So will these women be able to take that motivation and take down those top 10 spots here? And it's going to be all about Kaz Jen, Konebear, Ingmo, some of these riders here right on the cusp of being able to take that top 10 spot, but it's going to be about whether or not they got the power into the 2-tier, because you can see Cassie and Falk have been caught once again. These women do not want to sprint. They do not want to sprint against these chasers. They want to get away and make it said and done before that point. But it doesn't look like it's going to happen. It looks like it's going to have to be a tactical race into the 2-tier climb, into the volcano. It's going to get crazy hot, crazy lit into the volcano here as they are looking into the final mile now. Vanderbij, 3.2. Falk, 3.4. 169 beats per minute, as you can see here, as they make their way down. Now, if you look from the top here, you got some good camera views of what kind of sections they're going through here. There's that left-hand turn up the volcano climb. They're not going that way. It's all about the crit course today, all about the power surges and the tactics of the continual attacks of the volcano. But this is a section you can take some speed down this downhill. It's -6% gradient that you can see in the upper right-hand corner here actually with the map. And let's go ahead and bring the map in actually here. As you can see, the map where the riders are, you can see the different views of the course there. But they're currently feeling a 0% gradient in game action. Now we do see the Vixen rider making her way to the front there. Konebear actually making sure she's well positioned, just like in crit racing in real life. You're either moving forward or you're moving backwards. She does not want to find herself on the back. It's all about good positioning as you make your way into that 2-tier. If you let too many bike legs go and you're hanging out the back of the pack, resting up, that rest sometimes can come back to bite you, because you allow too many bike legs to get away from you and somebody attacks with 10 meters on you on the front. Even though you are part of the same draft, that's still 10 meters you need to make up. So you need to use the pack at this point when it's less effort that you have to throw down to close that down. They're all trying to even things up now. Here comes Vanderbij. Here comes Cassie Baldy now, 4.1 watts per kilogram. Now, I have no prediction at this point who's going to take this, because I have never seen these women sprint against each other before in the Kiss Crit European edition presented by Tech. I've never seen it between these women. They've never sprinted, I don't believe. It's always been a breakaway situation. But Cassie Baldy here, 7.4 watts per kilogram on the front. Here comes Falk, 6.8. Is it going to be the usual too? Do any of these women in the group have a sprint over these riders who have shown themselves to be stronger over the duration of the race? Here comes Falk out of Norway, 6.7 watts per kilogram, 180 beats per minute now at this point. Can she hold on though over the top top of Baldy, though. Will she be able to do it? It looks like it's still a gap to Koneberg. Koneberg's closing it down. Where's the arrow power-up? It's going to be all about the power-ups at this point. Here comes Cassie now, 7.5 watts per kilogram. Cassie Baldy, your third overall in the series, looks to be taking it down. Every last effort was put into the pedals by the rest of the Raiders, but still, Baldy Koneberg, second place over Falk, showing us that she's got the sprint. When it comes to the line, Carrie Koneberg, Vixen in the house, outfoxing the rest of the ladies for second place there. What an effort there from Carrie Koneberg. Oh my goodness, huge sprint from her. Takes down second place on the day. Absolutely amazing. Kona grabs the second. Justicar cheering it on. Good to see you here, Justicar. Good to see all of the new viewers as well. Good to see all you. Go Cassie coming through from Jerry. GG there from Kim Little as well. A lot of the racers are actually hanging out in the broadcast here. Quentin LaFay, our race analyst. Let's go ahead and chat about the results. Let's take a look at the replays here, see what happened in the race here today. And we'll get chatting a little bit more about what's going to be happening with the live final and what's happening later tonight with the riders in the West Series. But Quentin, what an effort there. Yeah. Carrie, I mean, it looks like if it comes to a sprint and a pack finish, very different situation than we see usually averaging about, 5th to 10th place. Much better result for her today.
Well, she's a very experienced rider, so she knows how to play with that group dynamic. She knows how to manage her efforts, and today she showed she knows how to sprint and how to wait for the right moment, and that's definitely what it's all about in that finish. I mean, she was right on the wheel of Cassie and Kristen, and
you can see it. Look, it was right there.
It
was right there.
Yeah,
too. She got it. Perfect timing there, Quentin. Perfect timing, really.
Exactly. Perfect timing on her part, and she's gonna be pretty happy about that because she's going to jump out a couple of places in the classification. I mean, she was in 9th place, and she's definitely going to jump a couple of positions. Maybe not up to 5, but maybe 6. I think I didn't see where Paul ended the race. Paul actually finished 4th, so Koneberg might be going a little bit ahead of Van der Beek and Ate in this race, and definitely one of the good operations today. A lot of them already have 7 races in, but they scored some very good points today. And
I think,
definitely
Quentin,
some changing.
They have 7 races in, Quentin, right? But at the same time, some of those races are like 15th to 20th place where they're only getting 1 to 5 points. So in a best of 7 situation, if they take a win or a second or a third, they're gaining anywhere from 15 to 19 points even. What if they have a 1-point race out there? That is a huge jump and really takes a little bit of that heat off of who's chasing me down. These last races, these last results really make a difference for a rider and their confidence to get to that live final.
Exactly. It makes a lot of difference because, maybe some of the riders that are pretty far in front maybe don't give as much, or maybe just don't come at all, as we saw for the leading 2 today. And it's always a good experience to be on the front, to be battling for the win. It's an experience you want to get for the future, and for them the future is the live final, and that's what they're looking to.
I don't want to take anything away from Cassie Baldy, though. Cassie Baldy, 7 watts per kilogram here off the front, uses that feather power perfectly timed, and she really got quite a gap on the rest of the field, actually. Really showed that in the absence of Angerman and Elliott, she is definitely one of the strongest riders out on course here. Cassie Baldy taking the win today, coming out of the UK there, H30 London. Zwift level 25. Good to have Cassie out on the race. Solid effort, takes the W from the rest of the women from that pack out there today. So Cassie, longtime Zwifter, we're pretty familiar with her. She's, you know, very, very strong rider, Quentin, in any race that she shows up to.
Yeah, exactly. She's been very consistent in all the races we've seen her, always on the attack, and that's always a good point to see a rider attacking. That shows confidence, and you know, with the way Zwift works right now, there's a huge group dynamic, and it takes a lot of courage for a rider to go on the front and to attack the way Cassie does every race, pretty much every race we see her. Same goes for Kristin, but you can see it in the men's race as well. And it's definitely a very big deal to get on the front and maybe to play a little bit with the group dynamics behind you. And try to see who responds and play maybe a little bit of mind games. And who knows, on the live final.
Well, that's the other thing too, right? You get into a live final situation. Like, this is all, so those of you just coming in, this is all about a live final. This is all about your best of 7 races to qualify to an invite to a live final, both North America and Europe. We're watching the European edition today, presented by Tax. Here is what we have been doing with the KISS Crit Series Europe men's and women's racing, actually, out on Zwift. These have been the events that we've been covering, actually, for them. For the European, we always cover at KISS O'Clock. We call it 2 p.m. CST, 8 p.m. GMT. And then for the women's race, and then the men's race, this is all the men's races times. The women's race times, if you still want to race and just jump out on Zwift and get involved in these, you can do that. So these are the times and start times. This is what we've been up to with these series. But these races that have been going on since December 7th through February 22nd have been all about qualifying for that invitation to the live final. And that's what it's all about. Now, chatting about the live final, Quentin, I mean, really, that's when the rubber hits the road. You know, these people are going to show up. They're going to weigh in. They're going to be on all the same trainers, all verified numbers at that point, right? I mean, you know, up front, we've got Zada, Zwift Power, and KISS regulating things to keep things as, you know, really fair on the virtual side of things. They're kind of like, for those of you just tuning in, they're kind of like the battle eye of PUBG and Fortnite. Like, Zada is essentially the battle eye. This exists across all games. For those of you in the Zwift world, we're just talking with, hey, come on over here. I just come on in here. I was just having a little chat with somebody you guys will all recognize. Just a quick little hello from Simon Schofield is in the house.
Hi guys, and that was an exciting race. That was an exciting race.
So
I was watching from the sidelines.
So we've got the ZC, the Zwiftcast camera over in the side here. But we're having a chat though before. Thanks, Simon. So we're having a chat though right before the broadcast about these. For some reason, Zwifters seem to think that the virtual not over LAN, over the internet issues only exist in Zwift. Sorry, they're in every single game. Every game that has a competition that's out there with qualifying and ranking and all that stuff. That's why Battle Eye exists. That's why Zada exists. That's why, you know, there might be a little more resources, obviously, going into games that have 20 million people concurrently playing, right? But, well, not that many concurrently at one time playing, but have that many copies sold and millions playing at a single time, or hundreds of thousands playing at a single time. So there's a little bit more investment in keeping sure, you know, a group like Battle Eye can make things happen. But there's just a reality that over virtual, there is a qualifying thing that's happening across all games. And it's very possible. We hear a lot of naysayers being like, it's not possible, it's not possible, it's not possible. It's happening in all of these esports games, actually. All of them have these situations going on, and they all have the verifications and the checks going down. And big thank you to the community organizers, KISS, CVR, all of them that are out there that are moving things forward. All of the race organizers, BRT, the Bolt Racing Series, the WBR Racing guys, all of them who help manage those things in the community to keep things fair and honest. So anyways, all that to say, once we get to that live final, though, then the rubber's really hitting the road, right, Quentin? I mean, then it's like, okay, weigh in, what you got, you know?
Yeah, I mean, a live event is one of the biggest thing you can do in the Zwift world. I mean, you hang out pretty much all week with the guys you know over the internet, and it's all about that one race during the few days before. And you wake up the morning of the race, you go to the weigh-in, then you head on to breakfast and stuff, and then the race comes, and you get to, you know, the pre-race chat and all the mind games and the little the little smiles and maybe some looking at each other a little bit before the race.
A little bit looking at each other.
Yeah.
Oh boy. So Quentin, you have done actually. So Quentin is speaking from experience. For those of you guys that are unfamiliar with Quentin, Quentin has raced in how many live finals so far?
2 live finals.
Well, not finals. Excuse me, not finals, but live invites.
Events, yeah.
Events.
It's Vegas in April and Paris in September. So yeah, that makes 2. But it's also very different in the way it's raced, because in a race that you do over the computer or at home, there's 50, 60, 100 riders on course. In the live event, you are only 10, so the group is much smaller. It blows apart pretty easily, and the dynamics are completely changed. And that's where I was going with this, is that the fact that the riders attacks on a big race shows that they have the confidence to do it in a smaller event, and it will have a much bigger role in that race where there are going to be only 10 on the starting line.
Completely different race. Now, that's the question a lot of times in the LAN events. Are they going to be open or are they going to be closed? Some race organizers do things differently. So that'll be interesting to play out actually in the live final. If we're talking a live final, that's an open race, and then all the KRT show up, all the experimentals show up, next thing you know, you've got all these teams. That'd be interesting. It'll be cool for seeing all of the riders. At the same time, there's kind of this like fairness situation where it's like we're trying to remove the virtual, we're trying to remove the online and have a purely LAN experience, right? A purely weighed in and land fairness experience. So it'd be interesting to see what the call is there for any live finals that are taking place in this in the finish of this winter season, essentially out on Zwift here. So I am seeing a lot of comments coming through here. Before we get into the results, Quentin, take a quick check of the results if you could for us, and we'll go ahead and analyze those along with the replays there and see how things played out here. But we are seeing quite a few go Kristen, go Vision coming here from Kirsty. Actually, Kirsty, longtime racer. She's been a recent super strong rider, actually, doing very well in the CVR World Cup events, actually. Good to see Kirsty Hull out there in the broadcast cheering on her teammate, Kristen. And it looks like Kirsty's saying, unfortunately, and maybe Kristen went too early, or else I think she would have made it. Yeah, it looked like she did go very early. Cassie maybe timed it well. Very good tactical move there, maybe from Cassie, Kirsty, that she played a little bit of we saw Kim Little do this to Matthew Drujon as well a few weeks ago, where Matthew has a very good kick, but Kim sat on it there. It looked like Kristen did have the kick, but I think Cassie sat on and then timed it right with the feather power up and came right on by. So very nicely done there. A couple more coming on through here. Beth York, always good to see Beth cheering on Carrie Conabear, her teammates. Also, Civvy Holmes here saying go to Carrie. So a lot of the Vixen riders jumping in here as well. Thomas Schultz saying go KRT ladies in. Well, great race ladies coming from Kirsten. Race is over. What race was it? Patrick, thanks a lot for the question. Let's take a look at the replays as we look at the results. Patrick, the live coverage of the race is over, but that's a great question as well. All of the videos on demand are on our Twitch channel as well as our YouTube. You can check out all our VODs in high quality HD over on our YouTube, Zwift Community Live, over on twitch.tv/Zwift Community Live as well. So head on over to those places for the VODs. You might even be able to start watching them now, as I think even when we're live, you can rewatch some of the stored data, actually. So thanks a lot, Patrick, for the question there. Let's take a quick little look, though, at the men's race replay and talk a little bit about the results here as they are coming into the line here. It was set up. We saw cops here, it looks like. And let's go ahead and see if we can bring this right on in. So here was the situation. Nope, that is not the situation. As we paused it through there. Let's see if we can bring in the men's race here, please. Nope, it's not going to do it for us. All right, thanks a lot there with our broadcast material there. We're supposed to be having the men's race. There it is. So we're not going to be able to pause it, only slow-mo. Sorry about that, everybody. But as you can see here, here's the current situation as they were making their way to the line there. We saw Hargreaves with that attack. It was the rider from Slovenia that was on the front cops who went early, but Hargreaves, after the first tier climb, kicked into 14, I think, as high as 14 watts per kilogram, and an aero power-up. Timed it perfectly. He had 7 laps of rolling the dice, the RNG, kicked it in there, and it looks like that effort there was what won it there at that 12.5 watts per kilogram. I'm not sure anybody, Quentin, can match that kind of sprint that you're seeing here from Tom Hargreaves.
Yeah, it's a very fast sprint, and not only at the beginning and the time it starts, but you can see he holds on to 700, 800, 900 watts for a very long time. And
so it's not just the kick; it's how long he's able to hold that for.
Very consistent, and yeah, it's very impressive. You gotta say it's very impressive to see that kind of effort. And you see his heart rate all the way into the 190, and you see the pack behind just coming back, and still too far.
Kim Little though. Look at Kim Little and Pod's line here. Look at the experimental. Where's Soren Bay is my question. Looking for that second place overall. Little holding on there, 11 watts per kilogram. Pod's line's holding on as well, as you can see. It looks like Kim was able to Hulk smash his way, fading a little bit, but able to grab third place there. It looks like Pod's line there in second. So Kim still securing some extra points, it looks like, on the day there. What a sprint there, though, by Hargreaves. And how are things going to change up there, though, Quentin, in the overalls?
Well,
any kind of really swaps?
Yeah. Actually, I was talking a little bit with Kim about it, but you know, he finished third today behind his teammate Podzaline, and Kim is actually coming back 4 points behind Tim Cartwright, and
4 points.
Podzaline finished
4 points.
4 points. 4 points, and Podzaline nipping in. Yeah.
Oh,
it might cost him the yellow jersey next week, because
experimental.
If Kim gets back 4 points to Cartwright next week, it will still be behind, and that point can mean a lot next week.
That one point, it could come down to 1 point for the leader's jersey. Oh, exactly. And Michael Podzaline. What, you know, I wonder what Frank Garcia's doing right now. The Team Experimental team manager and owner. Just so you guys know, Frank Garcia is probably going like this with his hair a little bit right now. Michael Podzaline, what are you doing? Taking the points. I bet you're having quite the chat. Kim Little, the Hulk,
and
almost taking down the sprint there, but Hargreaves just too much. So where are things at, though, with Hargreaves?
Yeah, Hargreaves is coming back to 9th place, and he's got 94 points, and still a race to go. I mean, he's only 6 races in, 94 points.
Wow,
that's pretty impressive.
He's already got his live final almost punched. I mean,
it's almost punched. It just has to score a few points next week, and it's in the bags.
Yeah, but there's okay. You say it like no big deal, but winning or even top 10 in these packs is such an effort. You saw that heart rate. We just looked at it. 194 beats per minute. to take the W. He's still got to put a serious effort out there to take the sprint, though. I mean, it's a full-on race still for the likes of Hargreaves. There's his sprint finish. There's his win for it. But 194, 193 we're seeing there. But, man, still, like, there's still some tension there. Only sitting in 8th place. One race to go. Mechanical or just a bad day on the bike? It's still coming down to it.
Yeah, it's gonna come down to, well, to who's got the legs to get some better points that they had in the past. You know, Phillips is only 6 points behind. Bakulov who wasn't there today, I think, or maybe a little bit behind. 8 points behind. The Coaster still 6 races in, so he might do his 7th next week, and he's got 83 points. Still very much in play as well, and 8th place, like you said, is not a given. If you talk to me about
who's chasing
Chris
him?
Bono,
Who's chasing him? Right? Like look at the situation.
Phillips. Phillips is very much chasing him right now. We saw him attack today.
We should have got a replay of that effort. Actually, I should have pushed the button. Innovation.
Yeah.
They threw it down.
Innovation
for
crushing
today.
it.
They threw it down for Phillips. I mean, you saw that attack halfway to go, completely organized. You knew they were in the team bus, chatting on Discord, going nuts, saying, okay, who's going to do this? Who's going to do that? Who's going to drive the pace? And they set him up so well so that he could even slow fade in a sprint if he didn't have the effort to kick to the line.
Exactly. They were grunting at each other in the last kilometer, and you know, it's yeah, that's how it goes in the team car. It's just noises, and you understand each other through that. But you know, it's yeah, it was a very good, very well timed group attack with Gavin Richardson and Keith Leonard. I think, if I recall right. Adam Webb was this week again in the mix of the group attack. So maybe the One Love team has some guys, some intel on the other teams. You know, he was
that was interesting.
Last week.
They're One Love and Innovation working together.
Yeah,
they might be working together there.
He was with the Team Experimental last week. He was with Innovation this week. So well, always in the good places. I think for Adam Webb and One Love.
We did have a question. What's the next live coverage tonight? We will be live with the NA West, just so you know, for the men's and the women. We will also have some live commentary coming from Lagrange with the women's team, as well as Mike Davis there as well for the men's race. So make sure to tune in for that. We'll be live tonight at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time here on Zwift Community Live. Now, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Make sure to check out, though, below you what Zwift Bike and Zwift Run are all about. We'll take a look at how you get set up here. We'll be right back with the women's replays and the results as they get updated over on ZwiftPower.com.
Not sure what you need to start Zwifting? Here's a simple checklist. First, you'll need a trainer. Either a classic trainer or a smart trainer. Smart trainers automatically control resistance, so when you hit a climb on Zwift, you'll feel the gradient kick in, just like on the road. Classic trainers do not automatically control resistance. Next, you'll need a device to run the Zwift app. An iPhone, iPad, Mac, PC, or Apple TV will get you in the game. Now start turning the pedals and connect your screen wirelessly with AMP Plus or Bluetooth sensors. Classic trainers require a speed sensor mounted to the bike. Smart trainers come with built-in sensors. Time to start Zwifting. For the best Zwift experience, connect to a big screen TV for an immersive and fun Zwift ride. Finally, to get even more out of Zwift, download the Zwift mobile link app to your smartphone. It doubles up as a game controller once you get Zwifting. Head to Zwift.com/hardware for a more detailed rundown on what's required. Not sure how to start running on Zwift? Here's a simple checklist. First, you'll need a treadmill. Good news, Zwift is compatible with all treadmills. There are 2 ways to connect to Zwift. Option 1, connect using a footpod, which transmits either Bluetooth or ANT+. Bluetooth footpods are recommended. Option 2, connect using a treadmill with a built-in Bluetooth sensor. Next, you'll need a device to run the Zwift app. An iPhone, iPad, or Apple TV will get you in the game. You can also connect a Mac or PC. Zwifting with an iPad is the most popular option. Most treadmills come with a dedicated mount or lip on the dashboard to rest your device. Next up, log into Zwift, head to the pairing screen, and connect your devices. For the best experience, we recommend you also use a heart rate monitor. You may also want to calibrate your footpod. Just click the wrench icon and follow the instructions. Time to start Zwifting. Finally, to get the most out of Zwift, download the Zwift mobile link app to your iPhone or Android. Here you can register for Zwift, follow your friends, and connect your Zwift account to third-party apps like Strava, Map My Run, Garmin Connect, Training Peaks, and Today's Plan. For more information, visit zwift.com/run.
And so we are going to jump into women's results here in just a moment. I do see a couple coming through with the chat saying, is this an infomercial? We just want to let everybody know what Zwift's all about. There's a lot of people who like jump into the broadcast here, and I'll bring up a quick little scene here of what I'm seeing here in Zwift right now. We've got about 2,000 riders out on the Watopia course, as you can see. And, they look at this and they go, so what is this, like Cycling Manager 2017? People are just using controllers, and there's not an understanding of what's going on here. We're also an official partner with Zwift, and so they're the ones who help make these broadcasts of these races happen while we develop into the next gen of esports, where we are actually putting real life sport efforts into the virtual worlds. And so we want to really make sure that everybody understands that, and also understands this is the official live streaming community space for a partnered space for all the live streams too. So of course we're going to bring a few of those informational videos through the broadcast. Make sure to check out down below the cards for Zwift Bike as well as Zwift Run. You can click the one that says what is Zwift, as well as the one that says how to get set up for running right below me. You can also find more information on the crit series below as well for the men's and the women's crit series. We will have coverage of those. Now, we are live here every single day during the week, just about, with community stuff. It's not just about racing. Tomorrow we'll have Zwift community chat with a chat with Steven's Cousins, who is coming on for some live streaming with running, and doing a lot of help with running groups and communities in the world of Zwift with the newly launched running platform, actually. So community chat. We also do Workout Wednesdays with Greg Henderson, UCI World Tour Pro, and Coach Hendy, as well as with Matt Rowe from Rowe and King, who is whose wife is a Olympic gold medalist as well. So a lot of other content here on Zwift Community Lives besides just the racing. So back in with the women's results, though, for the KISS Crit Series European edition presented by Tax here today. What is going on with the women's race? We saw the result there from Cassie, Where are things at though with the results though right now for the series, Quentin?
Well, the series changed up a little bit as well. Cassie took a little bit of points over Kristin Falk. She's now standing in third position with 129. So very
difference?
Good score.
Just a 4-point difference. Yeah. They all have a lot of podiums,
exactly.
seconds, thirds, and wins.
Yeah,
the first
4 riders.
That's the first win for Cassie, though. First win for Cassie.
The first win that doesn't go to Rachel or Patricia, and it goes to Cassie today. She's already got some second and third place all during the series, and all first 4 riders have gotten some very good results, but the interesting part is behind. Because Zeke Ryder, who was a little bit behind today, didn't suffer as much. She already had her 7 races in, so she's still in 5th place. Kirsten Paul and Carrie Conaber are actually tied for 6th place with both 100 points. Frederic Ate is now 8th. She took a point today. She took a point back. She's now standing at 93.
She was off the back. What was her result today? I didn't think she made the league group. Interesting.
She finished
13th on the day.
13th place. So maybe she had a 14th one day, and she just got back 1 point for that.
Yeah, I'm seeing 2 14th place finishes actually on the 1st and the 8th here. So it looks like that was a better result for her. That's going to matter. I think Frederic is one to watch here for the fine line of top 10.
Exactly.
I think that, we're watching the battles for the kudos, for the Palmares, for the who the strong women are out there that are taking the podiums and the wins. But the live final is what it's about a lot of times. Cass Jen, she was in I think 14th place. She's in 10th now.
She's right in the points, and she's only 4 points behind 8th place, and it all comes down very close. 8th, 9th with Gerling van der Beek just 1 point behind with 92, and in the 11th we got Willem in Sprint with 84 points, so just 5 points behind her teammates Cass Jen, who was sitting in 10th place, and Anja Lohendorf 80 points as well. And then we have Steve Engmo starting to fall a little bit more behind with 75. And Claire Reid, I think, is not going to be in the contention.
She will not be able to challenge. She was close for a little while, but I don't think she can challenge any longer.
No,
so now I think it
seems very hard.
I think the question then is, will Elliott show up next week? And will Patricia Angerman and some of these other top ladies, are there discussions going on in the background? Don't show up, don't show up, don't show up. Who knows who? You know what I mean? Leave some spots, because if some spots get left open, KRT have 3 riders, 10th, 11th, and 12th right now. That's a serious situation here for KRT to grab 4 spots in the top 10 final.
Exactly, and that's one of the tactics we were talking about at the beginning of the stream. Not being there is a tactic as well, because that's one more point. That's 1 more point for each of the riders, and that might be one way to give points to our teammates.
Yeah, I think. Well, yeah, that's true. Don't show. Well, I saw her show up last week and not cross the finish line. Support the racers and then finish behind them. As long as she finishes behind them, she shows up, supports them. You get Rachel in a chase group like that without Patricia and the rest able to walk away in the same way we saw this week. And KRT, I think, can make it happen. It's a reality. I'm not just talking pie in the sky right now. I think this is actually, we could see 4 KRT riders going to the live final.
Yeah, it's still very possible. It's going to be hard because Van der Beek showed today that she was very consistent, and
true.
Ate might not be too far from the group, and even if it's very close, you still have 9 points between 8th place and 11th place. So I mean, it's going to be hard.
It'll have to be a
They-
podium for some of these that
Yeah,
are
it could
sitting
have to be a
in
podium of them
12th and 11th.
if they want to make something happen.
Yeah.
I mean, they already have 3, and they can have up to 5. They can make half the series. They can make half the live event.
half of them being
Just-
KRT kits at the live final.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you got Elliot, you got Paul, you got Jen, you got Prince, and you got Logendorf all in the mix to be in that live event. And 5 is, well, unless I'm mistaken, 5 is the half of 10.
Last time I'm mistaken. I don't know, man. I try not to do too much math here on the broadcast. We tend to get that all
I
wrong
know
all the
that's not
time. But let's take a look again at the sprint and how it played out here. I believe we'll have the right one coming through here. I hope, but here it is. Cassie Baldy, Kristen Falk. Now, Kona Bear, another one to talk about here, really solidifying herself. I mean, I was second guessing whether or not Vixen and Carrie could make it happen into the live final. She wasn't able to make top 10s here and there. Shows up this week in the sprint, grabs a 3rd place. No mechanicals. I know she's had a couple of mechanicals. Actually, no, 2nd place, excuse me. Out sprints Falk at the line there. What an effort there from Carrie Kona Bear. Another one to be watching out for the live final here. It looks like she's going to be punching her ticket there. So that's the situation for the women's race. Now, next up tonight, West, the North American West. We've been swapping off from week to week. Last week we covered the East. This week we're back out with the Lagrange team as well as Mike Davis, I Martin Cycles, Beverly Hills, Rasan Bahati on site, Zwift HQ, putting it all down at the live event coming in here to you on Zwift Community Live. It's going to be a great race tonight. Quentin, thanks a lot for all the race analyzation today. Always super, super appreciated.
Yeah, always cool to be here.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Quentin. Really appreciate it. And good luck on, are you racing today? You doing any Zwifting?
No, last week I tried to do the 3E crit. I'm not doing that ever again.
3 crits one day. This guy was up to like 4 a.m. starting races at like
6.
I don't even know 6 a.m. He started a race at
the
4
West
a.m.
is,
in France. What
No,
the
5,
heck?
5 a.m. the West, and yeah, I mean the 9 p.m. for the Europe, 2 p.m. for the 2 a.m. for the East, and 5 a.m. for the West.
Oh my goodness!
So
man.
that's what we call a long night.
Yeah, that's a long day. Good racing though. Earned plenty of calories. Lots of pizzas. Good job, Quentin.
Yeah.
All right, talk to you soon.
I will have to do.
Thanks a lot for the support, Quentin. Cheers.
Yeah.
So that was Quentin LaFair, race analyst, coming in, chatting about the results here. Now, if you're unfamiliar with Zwift and what's going on here, we just did the Kiss Crit European Edition presented by Tax, and we want to give a big thank you to Zwift as well as Tax and Kiss, the partners of this racing series. If you want to check out all the race results, head on over to zwiftpower.com. That's where all the results are stored for all Zwift races and group rides, actually, that are registered with zwiftpower.com. Kiss puts on the series as the race organizers, and the sponsor is Tax. That's going to be it from me here today. I'm going to leave you guys, though, with a couple of videos about the awesomeness that happens through Zwift, as well as a big thank you out to Tax and their highlight trainer, which is the Neil. But let's check out what Lionel Sanders as well as Lucy Charles have done with the Ironman with Zwifting 2. So that's it for me, though, and I'm going to leave you guys with the promo videos. Cheers, everybody. We'll see you tonight. Make sure to hit that follow button and join us for the West at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
people, I mean, even family and friends ask me, why am I doing Ironman? Why am I not going for the Olympics? And being a distance athlete, and I enjoy big challenges and going to Kona and doing races like that, you can't beat it. What have we got next?
Intervals this afternoon.
One of my favourites. I came here originally as a swimmer, so I hadn't ever even thought about doing triathlon, and a few of my friends were out here training for the Ironman. Then I did swear I would never do this Ironman because I thought it was too difficult, but after a few years it's certainly got a piece of my heart. Last year was my first year as a pro, and I really wanted to set the world alight almost, but it kind of all went not to plan when I ended up with a stress fracture in March in my leg. Although I was allowed to bike, that had to be primarily on the turbo. Zwift was a real lifesaver then because it meant that I could do longer sessions and I could focus on my power and see that improve. The really, really good thing about Zwift is it has the race feature. If you are doing max intervals in your session, then there's nothing more motivating than being almost in a race environment. The goal was always to win an Ironman, and to come back and win it here in Lanzarote this year was been quite special as it was my first ever pro race.
We didn't have a clue what Kona was, and everyone was talking about Kona, and we was like, what's Kona? I didn't even know this island existed.
I've never raced there as a pro before. I've won as an age grouper there, but this will be a completely different race.
From there, we decided that we're going to try and target qualification for Kona this year.
I decided that I could potentially qualify, but it would mean probably going to a major championship race, so that's why I picked Ironman Frankfurt to do, as it was the European Championships, and luckily I managed to finish second, so I'd had time to spare, and I've been able to train more for Kona as well.
Her biggest weakness is almost knowing when to pull back. She's very driven, very strong-minded. As a mindset, as an open water swimmer, it's literally staring at a swimming pool tile for 100,000 metres a week.
I always said if I ever made the Olympics or if I ever did an Ironman, I would get either one of those tattoos. A lot of people, they come up to me and they say, I've never seen a pro with an Ironman tattoo, and I say, well, I didn't expect to be a pro at this. This is probably my favourite bit. Nice and easy. This year has completely surpassed my expectations. Kona is the next big goal. I'd like to go and finish definitely within the top 10, but I'd like to kind of jump and try and get on the podium if possible.
I guess the whole thing started in grade 3. Track and field. There's this kid who won all the events, Jay Hernandez, and I thought he was the coolest kid ever, and I wanted to be just like Jay Hernandez.
Today I've got, I'm going to do like 500 to 1,000 meter warm up, 15 times 200 on 255. Nothing crazy, just a good little threshold.
In terms of how I got into triathlon, towards the end of high school, I mean, I started to get into partying and all that sort of stuff, and I went down that path progressively more and more and more, and then I started to get into harder drugs. You know, you have enough of those experiences add up, and you know, you want to make a change in your life. I certainly did anyway. I quit partying basically cold turkey then, and I started running again. I basically watched my whole life change before my eyes in 10 months.
You know, looking back on those days, they were very dark, that's for sure. Not as a parent, not having control over your child and watching things like that get to a level that you know, are quite serious was very trying on the family.
I rode outside for the first 4 years of my career, and I got hit every single year. That's when I said, you know what, I think I'm going to try the indoor trainer. Just over a year ago now, a friend of mine said, hey, have you heard about the Zwift thing? Well, then I got onto it, and I was immediately hooked. I actually felt more like I was outside. I felt more inside of my body.
Well, it's noon now. Dew point of 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Exactly what Kona is right now. This is what we can expect.
And I'm riding around the volcano, and I'm like, this is what Kona is. It's a volcano.
riding for 4 hours and 20 minutes.
Just as the mental game is beginning, well, you still have 4 hours of racing left. That's a long time to be in your mind. Every single workout that I do, I'm at various phases of the race. I know that I'll be coming down from Javi, and I'm visualizing all the main contenders, Jan Frodeno, Sebastian Kienle. Like, I can see it all in my mind. I know that course so well.
He's definitely the most dedicated and driven person that I've ever met. So to see him go from duathlete who can't swim to one of the best professional Ironmans in the world in a short amount of time is kind of unbelievable.
I mean, you have to believe you can win. And if you don't believe, that race is far too hard. And I can actually see myself winning that race.
He's a machine, I tell you. Mentally, just unbelievable. He's definitely ready for Kona. Good job.
Oh God, so hot out.
The old man knows how to get you, huh?
All right, let's jog home.